friends. We're just
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Um, Hi everybody. Today is Friday, March 20th, 2026. Welcome to MVP Office Hours. I am one of your hosts, Joy Shutters Helbing, and I have my co-host Squire Kirshner. He's waving at y'all if you're paying attention. Um, we're super excited that you're here. What I was giggling about was that our upcoming MVP office hours is April 3rd, and then on April 24th is episode 300 of this endeavor. And then we're going to follow up with May 8th and May 22nd. And this kind of like change in schedule is due to TDX, that both Squire and I will be traveling in the window of time that we would be
Sure.
hosting
Yeah.
this call. And so we're gonna shift the calendar a little bit, and then so we don't miss everyone for too long. We're gonna go on the 24th, the 8th, and the 22nd. If you would like to share registration with friends, we encourage this. bit.ly/MVPOH, and recordings can be found on YouTube at MVPOHUS. Blah, 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 blah. Typically, we do meet on the first and third Fridays, but not for the next couple of weeks. Please follow Squire and I on LinkedIn. We're happy to chat with you. But also, if you have questions, we do have an email address, but please don't send us things there. We would much rather like share your questions with the broader community. And Square, if you could drop the link to the community in the chat, that'd be great.
You got it.
But if you post questions to the community, we ask that you use Problem Solve Together, Better Together, Community Learner, MVPOH, all that good stuff, because we want to share the love. We do have some upcoming events in Charlotte. Nonprofit Dreamin' is, gosh, is that next week already? Wow. It's Wednesday. And then on April 15th and 16th, we've got TDX in San Francisco, Mid-Atlantic Dreamin' in Philly on May 4th. Tableau is in San Diego on May 5th. True North Dreamin' in Toronto is May 11th. Dreamin' in Data in Chicago on the 17th. And then June is Connections. I'll be there. I'm already registered. And then Dreamforce in San Francisco. And I'm sure there's some other events that we don't have listed specifically, but you can find those at salesforce.com/events for the Salesforce sponsored created events, and then trailhead.salesforce.com/community/conferences for community driven events. Next slide, Squire.
And
Thank
before you
you.
go there, just a quick reminder, because I think it ends today or tomorrow, but Midwest Dreaming submissions are due,
Ooh.
and it's coming up in July, I believe. It's just
We
off the end of this list, but submissions are due this week, and I think early registration ends pretty quickly too. So
Yep.
another great conference that we like to support. So
Yep. If someone wants to drop the link in the chat, that's super duper. I appreciate it. Next. All right. Ground rules. We do invite everyone to share their experience with us because you're all here with all just broad experiences. Post your links and resources and answers in the chat. If you have a question, post it up in the chat or raise your hand so that we can get you kind of in line for order of operations. And please remember, I don't know how I can stress this more. We are recording the session. The session's recorded. You clicked on an OK button that said, OK, I can be recorded. We're recording the session. Please do not share any private or proprietary information, and under no circumstances can our call be transcribed by an AI tool. Please and thank you. We do want to have fun, but please stay professional and positive. Tell a friend, invite a peer. That doesn't say something else. I thought that said beer for a second. That was really funny. Um, the QR code for the community is up on the screen, and you can actually use Trailhead Go to get to the community and here. But again, we have the community group in we're in the community, wherever that is. But post your questions there because we have, I'd say there's got to be over 500 people in that group, right? Square, I forget
oh
what the
yeah,
number is right now.
yeah.
But you'll get wildly more traction on your questions there than you will sending an individual email to us. All right. Next up, Pat. Is Pat on?
Yeah, I saw
Pat,
her
yay!
join.
Pat, we're very excited to revisit. Are you not ready for your moment in the spotlight today, Pat? We're so ready for you.
I'm
Do you want me to
ready.
talk about something else? Because I can talk about
Nope,
anything.
nope, nope. Let me tell
Okay.
you what happened.
Tell me.
All right. So I made individual fields, okay, for each one of those
Can
questions.
can we recap real quick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, we had a request to do voice of customer questions, and that is basically for new product development. And this thing that is on in the community in on the Trailblazer community,
Hmm.
we had a request to do voice of customers. Most of the requests will come from the salespeople from what their customers have told them.
So
There are a
customer to
few,
salesperson as an internal user of Salesforce. Yes.
yes. So they will tell them whatever, blah, blah, blah. There were a few fields that they want to required. This came from product uh, group, product manager in our company. And the person who first proposed it in our company said, "Hey, why don't we make these opportunities?" My manager went with, "No, these should be cases." And then I talked to you guys, and you said, which I had kind of thought, but since I'm kind of like not always the best person because I don't have nearly the experience you have, I thought, well, maybe a custom object. And so at our last call, you guys suggested custom object and you gave some reasons why. Okay.
Hmm.
Right now, those really kind of like aren't important anymore because so I did make a custom object. I pitched it to my manager, and he's really kind of like in off on something else because right now he's on 6 weeks of paternity leave. They had their kid a day early, and but still, so I made it, showed it to the product manager, and he said too many fields. So for each one of the questions, like in each area, there were 8 different areas, and there were 2 to 3 questions in there. I made a field on a custom object. And it was basically said, hey, too many fields, just do it the way that we showed you.
Okay.
And the reason I made all those fields, when you start to summarize or even look at reports, you're just going to have all this stuff globbed together. And some of it is numbers.
Okay.
So I got the idea that it's just best to do it this way. And later on down the line, hey, when they realize it's not really that useful to them, then I already have my page layout with all the other questions um, taken care of. So right now, I'm kind of like,
So it's a open text suggestion box,
yes,
and
yes.
then you're waiting with the revised suggestion forms.
Yeah, like in 6 months or so, it'll come up. Well, we can't really use this. It's not that helpful to us, and blah blah blah. And I'll be like, oh, okay. Like when I made that with all 24 questions. Oh, okay. So, but and I didn't realize you guys were on YouTube's, or I'd have gone back and looked at it there. And
Oh, I'm sorry, Pat. Yeah.
well, hey, you know what? It kind of, like I said, about a week ago, it was basically said, just do it the way
Yep.
that didn't come from my
Hmm.
manager. Okay.
I would really like this person to not order up Salesforce projects like a value meal in the drive-through.
Yeah.
Well, but you know what?
I know.
As I
I
tell
know.
my manager every week when we have our one-on-one, a lot of this stuff is job security because I have to do it the first time. And then the second time, I have to go back and do it again because even with all this gray hair that I have, they don't understand. I already had $30 million operations that I was responsible for. When you have 24 drivers out on the road that are trying to get everything delivered by Christmas, That's not an easy task when we just got 3 inches of snow. I worked at UPS for almost 20 years, and I was a driver supervisor. And when you guys call in with a complaint, I was one of the people that I had to talk to, blah, blah, blah. That's a $30
Oh,
million operation every day. And we
yeah.
had actual business stuff. So
Yeah.
Pat, sorry, I'm going to cut you off. We
I know. That's
we we
okay.
we should be having this conversation over a beer or a cup of coffee, not on the recording. But your point is well heard and understood, I think, by many of us. So, sorry. Um, let's go back to the solution really quick, just to make sure that we close the loop for you. And I think you said something that's really valuable. That's why I wanted to pause
Hmm.
and get back here. I think even though what you said isn't what you meant, I think what you meant is that I'm experienced, I'm being paid to do something, and I need you to trust me when I make recommendations. And if that's not what they're saying, then what you need to do is less about, like, I guess you don't want to say I told you so, but I think this is a great opportunity to flex those architect muscles, write an options analysis. It can be short and sweet, but just here was the problem. Here were the concerns, the considerations, not pros and cons. It's just like what I was thinking about. Here's like, so you made a comment about like, you're not going to be able to report on this. Okay. So you call that out as reportability as a challenge. Get that documented and just put, I don't know if you use stories or if you have a backlog board or anything, but just log it and put it to the side. And then you can feel okay with, I did my job the best I can. And when
Hmm.
someone says, why the heck did we do that? It's not, I told you so. It's, this was the analysis. The direction I was given was to go away from my
Hmm.
recommendation. And then you can also then use that for, not leverage, because again, it's not to be, you're not trying to
Just
be, I told you so, but you want to be able to
future
say,
experience marker.
there you go. There you go. This was an example of where you pay me to be the SME, and we felt we should have solved it this way, which we didn't. So there's been a waste. There's been an expenditure of time and effort and money because you're not trusting me and my responsibility. You pay me to do
And
it.
technical debt to boot.
Right.
Because now these records are going to exist and they're either going to have to be transformed into the new, someone's going to have to like translate the data into the
Mhm.
fields
Yeah.
so that it's reportable the way that maybe the future looks.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So use it as an opportunity to show your value in the positive way, not in the I told you so way. And then next time they'll trust you better. Maybe.
Squire, you're so right. I feel good. I feel much better about that.
Well, that's how it's supposed to work. I don't know how many of us on the call actually feel the way I just described all the time, but it's supposed to work that way.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that on Salesforce Ben, I forget I'm gonna butcher the gentleman's name, so I'm not gonna say his name. But there is some architectural articles that have been recently produced, and they said just that, right? Is at the point in time we made this assessment, we weighed these different options, and the decision, because of ABC reasons, we went forward with this, even though we evaluated option A, B, C, and D, but we went with the F. We like grade F.
Yeah.
And
And if
so
you can find that article and like
yeah,
click
I can
it,
actually,
drop it in
I'll
here,
do that. I'll drop it in there.
that'd be
And so
great.
the other thing is, Pat, to that end, right? Include the components so that you can have a destructive user story for when you find out a year from now you have one whole record and it's test because no one's going to use it. I've definitely seen that at other organizations where we had this whole plan, we invested 3 sprints worth of effort, and literally the records that exist in that environment is test. So, yep. So
Oh, oh yeah.
sometimes you just got to give in and then move on.
But that's where enablement comes in too, right? So, all right. The do we have any other questions in the community, Squire? Or are we
No, it was
what?
quiet.
You
Yeah.
all have had so much success in the last
No.
2 weeks. This is amazing. Linda, what do you got?
I know Allison's on here because she had a question.
Allison.
I just
Did I
hope
miss it?
she's paying enough attention.
I see
Can you
Allison.
post it?
I'm here.
She-
I couldn't find my unmute button.
That's okay. I
Uh,
hear Allison. I just
Sorry, I don't have my camera.
That's
working
okay.
at
That's
this
okay.
No,
moment.
I see you on the list of people. That's what I was looking for. Camera is optional.
I think I didn't use my. I don't know. I must not have posted it correctly. But
That's
I put
okay.
it. I did post it somewhere. I got one response from someone, but I probably, I don't know, missed the hashtags or something.
Catch us up.
But what I need help with is I am in charge of offboarding our users. And it's an incredibly laborious manual process right now where I have to
Mhm.
run 12 queries. Then I export each query and put them all in an Excel sheet and format them nicely and send them off to the manager to get the new person to be assigned to take over those records. And the actual part of, once the manager writes me back, that's easy peasy because I can just do a mass data load. What gets to be the hard part is not hard necessarily, but just the time consuming part is running the 12 queries all the time and then putting them together in an Excel book. The other way that we've done it is I've run the 12 different reports of the different things, but we still give and then sent the links to those to the manager to be like, hey, you can update these right in Salesforce. But sometimes it's hundreds of records. So that would, so I still have to export it and then put it together in an Excel workbook and send it over to say, or put the new person taking it over on here, and I'll do a mass update for you. So I'm looking for ideas of getting either the reports run together, a query that can query multiple things at once, just anything to help make this process easier.
I
Is
have
it all about ownership change, or is there anything else?
It's tasks being reassigned, Conga steps that need to be reassigned.
Okay.
It's not one for one. So it's not every time Matt leaves, it always becomes Peter or anything like
Sure.
that. So it's,
Yep.
So it sounds like every instance almost needs to be evaluated, even if it's just at a glance.
yes.
Okay.
So I can handle, like I said, the worst part of this is not the changing of the thing. It's the getting that far. It's running 12 queries, putting it all in an Excel book, getting it formatted nicely, all of that. That's really the harder part.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
Okay.
my knee-jerk reaction was a dashboard
Okay.
with
That's a good idea.
with
I
a
didn't consider
filter.
that.
So you have your like 12 reports or whatever with a filter
Mhm.
on the ownership. And I know that you said that not everything is based on ownership, but that might take care of half of them.
Yeah.
And then when you drill into it, then it's, it makes a little bit more sense. You can kind of see that at a glance. Um, the other thing is like, an offboarding list view that you update the filter. That this manager that you can share with the manager as needed, instead of doing an export import or sharing links. Um, so that the list view is like owned by, I think you said Peter or whatever, like owned
Yeah,
by
whatever.
the
Yeah,
owned by the offboarding
yeah.
user. And then they can like make the changes from the list view and they can kind of go through it at their own pace. Does anyone else have any ideas? Because that was just like my knee jerk
Yeah.
reaction. I used to have like a zero board where like the anomalies like would pop up on the dashboard. And so like the idea is that this dashboard would all have zeros.
Right, right.
And then like when things came up, I would be able to identify them easily. One of the things I had on this dashboard was records owned by inactive users. So that I could
Yeah.
figure things out very easily. And then like we get reallocated by territory or however they were reallocated. But that was eons ago. And so I don't remember all the details about how I did that, but it is painful to reassign folks. Whatever you do, do not change a user's name and email address to
No,
do
we don't
that.
do that.
Don't do that.
No, no. That's not
What that's not the answer.
No.
Do not do this. I know it seems easy and right there, it'll just take care of everything in like one step, but oh boy, don't do it.
No, not doing that. Don't worry
Okay.
about that.
Fantastic. Anyone else have any ideas?
I'm just curious because I don't know off the top of my head. Are you able to do a mass change of ownership from list view, or is that one of those things you can't actually edit in the list view?
I have never
It depends
tried.
on the object, I thought.
Because like Opportunity does all that extra swapping, but others you can.
Yeah, I
The
don't know for sure.
cascading changes based on what you have. Yeah. Could look into that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess
And you said it wasn't one to one. So like if Squire says, "Bye guys, let's reassign all the stuff to Joy," we can't do that because you're saying sometimes it's going to Joy, sometimes it's going to Pat, sometimes it's
Yeah,
going
and sometimes it is one to one. Sometimes it's like, hey, every time, all of Squire's records go to Pat. But sometimes it's like, well, this one goes to Pat, this one goes to Linda. Like it just depends, and it's on all different objects.
Right.
That sometimes
Yeah.
it's all these go like this. It's I can never make the assumption.
Yeah.
Right. It sounds like there's some cherry picking that happens to like
Mhm.
pull like some maybe sensitive items or high value items
Yep,
to
and sometimes they do
specific
it on
people.
capacity
Mhm.
where they're like, there's 700 tasks open. Well, these are all going to go to these 9 people, things like that. So
Yep.
the different teams at where I work all handle things a little bit different.
All right. Yeah, I would, make a like, I don't know, if you have the reports, maybe
Mhm.
build those out and then see how you feel about that and putting it on a dashboard. And you like when you filter by owner though, that's only going to be the records that the owner is what you can filter on.
Right, right.
If there's other things that you need to filter on, you can maybe have a secondary dashboard that's like, offboarding number 2
Mhm.
or whatever it is that you can be more specific. But
Can I ask a question here?
of course you can.
Allison,
Mhm.
how often do you have to do this set of tests?
Every day, basically.
Okay.
I mean, I usually
Wait.
do it all on Fridays, but it's all the time. And we have users coming and going constantly.
So this sounds like it would be worth your time to develop for yourself a screen flow that would automate a lot of this work for you. Obviously,
Right.
you'd have to build in some decisions where you could tell
Okay.
it what to do, but that's what robots are for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
See, this is the idea that I've been looking like. I will be very honest. I'm taking a class right now in flows. They are by far and away my weakest link. I am colleague support, so I do a lot of the day-to-day things in
This
my
is a
day
great
job.
practice
So
opportunity
I
because
think
you're
you're
the
right,
only
Michael.
audience.
This is
Mhm.
brilliant. Plus, I work with Linda, and she's super smart. So,
Yeah.
and I am taking a great class, so this can be sort of my thesis statement in that class, perhaps.
I mean, I'll even go one step further. I mean, if you really want to show your flex those muscles, a screen flow that you then assign via the now free orchestration functionality to the manager to do their own reassignments,
Ooh.
you could get 90% of the way there. I mean, you might not be able to pull it off with opportunity because of those weird checkboxes, but like
Mhm.
maybe everything else. And then you could say, look how cool this is. And you'd know where they're left off and who owns it. And it's not your problem anymore. Like you could get really creative.
Linda, you have supervisory responsibility here. Help her.
I know. I just wanted her to get the chance to ask to get other
Yeah.
people's ideas
Yeah.
too.
No, I'm saying like in between our meeting cadence in the next like month. I'm so excited about this. This is way better than dashboard.
I am very excited about this. Is what I was hoping to get. I was like, I can do the dashboard. I think that's a great first step. But I also didn't even, I mean, it hadn't even occurred to me that a screen flow could do
Mhm.
this because, like I said, I'm not good at that yet. But I think you're right. This is a great chance for me to learn something new and to really tackle that. So I will
Sounds
try
like a
things.
really great presentation to do as well.
It sure does. We can't wait.
And are you
Yeah.
reading my mind? Like, did I make that face?
I just did the quiet part really loud. Sorry.
Allison, who's your local user group? I'm not sure where you're at.
I'm in St. Augustine, Florida, so Jacksonville, Florida. Andy, whose last name is escaping me right now.
That's okay.
I believe Andy his last name starts with an E.
Okay.
And Mark
Okay.
and the guy who I'm taking
Andy
the flow
Goodkin.
class
Class
with.
with. All right, great.
Yeah.
Well, and the reason I asked is because that group would be not only super helpful as far as like testing, but they would be so receptive to you demonstrating that to the community about how you got there.
Okay.
As a user group leader, there's lots of us in the call.
Mhm.
So we get so much more value out of someone like you showing what you've learned and how you got there than maybe some presentations where it's like, do it this way. Like there's
Mhm.
two different flavors. I love the success story and even the failure stories those are the best learning opportunities. And so use it
Mhm.
as an opportunity to kind of get involved with your
Okay.
group. They'll
The
love it.
admin group
Yes, that's the
with
one
Rich?
I now you're making
You
me
tell
question everything.
you
I don't
yeah, you tell Rich I said hi.
um
His podcast episode is next week. So I'm so excited. I'm so excited, Allison. This is
I'm
great.
really nervous, but also excited because anything that will make this easier, even if the setup is much harder, if the long term is much easier, then I'm all for it.
Yeah.
This is
And Pat, I
great.
did see your question. I'm going to link you to the class I'm taking. It's the Flow Canvas Academy.
Okay.
It's really good. I will say that. I have learned more. It's a 4 hours, I think, and I'm only 2 hours in, but it's taken me 6 hours because I'm taking so many notes. I have
That's
learned
okay.
more in the time I've put into it than I have in the trailheads because the trailheads start using words and just assume you know what those words mean. And I went to journalism school, so I do not know what those words mean. So this talks about the words, and it's been really excellent. I'm
Fantastic.
slowly but surely working my way through it.
But she went to a
I-
good school in the state of Indiana.
I did go to Ball. I went to Ball State, which is known for their journalism school. So had a great first life in
Fantastic. Oh yeah,
yeah.
Andy's solid. Yeah,
Yes.
you're in good
That's the
hands.
class I'm doing right
You're in
there.
good hands. Fantastic. All right,
All right,
Allison,
thanks everybody.
yeah,
That was really helpful. I'm, like I said, nervous but excited. I
Well,
will get
that's all right.
and bring it back to us too. We'd love to hear how far you came, even if it's just a big thumbs up and a thank you again when you're done. We
Okay.
love hearing that. So come back.
I like
All
it.
right, I will do that.
I
Thank
like
you.
it. Thank you.
So I know Pat's hand up, but I also saw someone else's hand go up and then it went back down. I want to make sure we don't miss somebody. Was it Stacy? Did you have your hand up for a second?
That was
I think
me.
so.
I just wanted to interject, but I realized I should either just speak up or put it in the messages, so I'm good. Thanks.
You sure?
I'm very sure.
Okay. All right.
All right.
So Pat, back to you. You said you have a new question?
Yes, this just came up. I don't need you to solve it. I just need you to point me in the direction so I can go read it and solve it myself.
Okay.
How to want to start locking down some reports so that if someone uses that report, we have some reports that are on our dashboard, and then people go in and do their own thing with them, but so that someone uses them, they can't actually change the one that's going to be on the dashboard.
Yep. Super straightforward. Who wants it?
I got it. So you want to create your folder structure on your reports and dashboard so that it is view only if they need to be able to clone the reports, etc. And then they can clone it and create it and make modifications, but it won't affect the dashboard that everybody's referencing. So you just need to create a folder structure where it's protected and only the managers and the editors are able to make those changes. And everybody else can view it and again, clone from the reports and or dashboards widgets that they want to do. So that would lock it down, but also give them the freedom to then perpetuate and create their own nonsense.
Yeah,
I would
I don't want
encourage
them
you to
to. I want
put-
them to have to come to me to change those reports because we have lots of kind of tentacles in there, you know.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I would encourage you to update the description on those reports that says this report can only be edited by XYZ. If you're welcome to clone this report and make adjustments as needed for your own use.
I would also make sure that description mentions that it's in a dashboard.
Yes.
Hate
that
yourself
can-
later.
right. Cannot be changed because it's in a dashboard only by this person. I totally agree with that, Linda. Good call.
Okay.
And you're adorable that you think that people read the descriptions, but sure, it helps.
Nobody
Oh,
reads
that's
the
for
description.
that's
but
for my
like,
personal use.
Oh, okay, I was like, end users reading descriptions?
No.
Man, where do you work at? I want to go there.
Well,
I've worked at lots of places.
I have seen plenty of orgs where people put in the report name dashboard what it does, or
Mhm.
DB or something,
Mhm.
so that they're forced to read it a little bit. But I
Yeah.
agree with the folder sharing. And I was going to say, if only we could do the same with list views, wouldn't it be great?
Right? It would
Well,
be great.
you can though with list views.
No,
way.
if someone can edit any list views, they
No.
can edit all the list views.
No, in a way,
Nah.
like the naming convention being public dash blah. That way, at least, like, hey, you were updating a public list view. It's right there. But also, they can edit personal list views without editing public list views. So you can have that nuance.
Yeah, but you can't do both. You can't make the public list views uneditable.
And if they're creating their own list views, they can't share them.
Also, yes.
That's okay. It's for their own personal
that's-
problems.
I'm just
But
curious.
that's not when it's a team that.
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you've ever seen a list view called all that had filters on it.
Hate that. Hate that.
Oh, wait,
All
it
of
gets
them?
better. Or
Everyone?
when someone steals all and then changes the viewability on all to themselves, and you're like, what happened to view all?
Or you rename it from all to my list view, and
Yep.
everyone loses all, but it's pinned somehow. Like it's a wild time. And that's when everyone loses list view editability. Anyway. Does that help with your folder question, Pat?
Yep. Yep.
I'll offer one more list view challenge. Just I'm wondering if anybody has a solution. What about when you've got different business units who aren't sharing list views but are sharing the same object? How are you handling that? So like if I have like I'm gonna say premium clients in my account list because the real estate group has a list, and then the finance list has all of our accountants account list, but they don't need to know about each other, but they both have access to the same lists. Because you
That
can't.
sounds like someone needs to control list views for those two groups.
But they still see both list views even if they don't work.
Would they still see both list views if those list views are only shared to a public group that they are members of?
That's
Right. So it goes back to what you were saying, right? So then all of a sudden you're like, now there's no more public access, but you make role assignment or group assignment by list view.
As soon as they step in the mud, you take it away.
Yeah.
It's just it's that easy. It's like if you like one of the things I ran into was like if there is portal usage, like public list view access is a very, very tiny number of people. Like someone's got to control like what kind of information is shared out there. So no, like public list view is public list editability is a big spicy permission.
Yeah.
I was also going to suggest, users don't generally go figure stuff out. So if you put a naming convention like this is for the real estate group or whatever, and you tell them this is your list view, it's the only one that's good for you or whatever, they're gonna believe you. I mean, you tell them to pin it, but of course, if they clear their cache or whatever, they'll lose the pin. But still,
no, you're right.
Just give them sort of slightly untrue information, little white lies.
Yeah. I mean, part of me thinks, what if I said, with the advent of editable reports, nobody needs to have list view create ability anymore.
But list views work so much better for mass editing than reports.
They work hard. It's a hardworking tool.
You're right.
And
report record editing is slow and painful unless you just need one or two fields.
You're right.
List views are great for mass edit. I mean, they're not great. They're not as good as some other tools, but they're pretty good.
Also, not everyone should have mass edit on list views.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, if your needs can be addressed, why not use reports? If you need to do mass edits, right? Probably not that's not the target audience for this context.
Yeah. Like many of us, when you've got that 13, 14, 15-year-old org with dozens of business units and infinite opinions, it's really hard to make that change, but everyone's exactly right. The right answer is control list view, and then you're off and running.
What was it? What's the thing called? The least privilege, the thing? Yes. Don't give it to them.
Principle of least privilege.
That's the word. That's the word. The principal word. That's the one. Don't give it to them. Start them off small.
I think last year there was a Salesforce Ben article on locking down the list views. I know I read, kind of glanced through, maybe a Salesforce Ben or someone else did something on locking down list views.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I mean the tools are there. It's not like you can't. It's just really it'd be better if it worked like reports. So,
yeah.
All right.
I don't want folders for list view Squire.
Oh, I do. Oh my God, yes. 1000% I want folders for list views.
I don't personally.
I know.
I don't want this.
But
Someone
nobody-
else can have that.
Nobody asked you, Joy.
I'm not stopping the product development. I'm just saying this is not something I want. So I would like it to be turned on or not.
Oh, okay, sure. If you can enable it,
Mhm.
then you'd be on board. Okay.
Yes.
I can support that.
Yes. So hey, hey, idea exchange. Let's go, friends. Let's go.
There you go.
Like we'll pile on. Oh man. Do we have any other questions?
I didn't
Anyone's
see
working
anything
on?
pop,
Pat,
but that isn't-
Pat, how do these come up? Like in the moment? Are you typing people at work and saying, "Do you have
Oh,
questions?
heck no.
I've got experts on the line. We're ready to go."
No. These are just things that come up, and then it's like, oh, you gotta
Bring it. What do you
All
got?
right. Would a contact not show as a duplicate if on one contact you had 2 chatter posts, but on the other contact you only had 1 chatter post?
Duplication has nothing to do with chatter posts,
It depends on what your duplicate rules are looking at.
but your duplicate rules can't look at chatter posts.
No, I know. That's why I'm saying the duplicate showing or not showing has to do with what the rules say, not with the chatter post. Linda, you're absolutely right.
I would think that record access is probably the largest thing at play there.
Oh, fine.
Okay. All right.
Record access, the largest thing at play for duplicates. I mean,
Well, if you
One
don't have
person
if you
can't
don't have
see
if you don't
the
have
second
access,
record.
it's more likely
Yeah.
you would have created it. But and if you don't have access, you're not going to ever know it's a well, you can know it's a duplicate because it'll still show you that duplicate widget. It just can't show
De-
you what the record is.
depends
you don't have
on
access to it.
depends, right? But I mean, but that's the reason why I think that record access is a likely element.
Well, when I look at the contact, it doesn't have the duplicate thing doesn't pop up, okay? When
Sure.
other people look at it, it still doesn't pop up. So I'm like, the only difference that I've seen so far, and I haven't gone way down the rabbit hole with this because it's like it's only one, and right now it's not the most important thing. But the only difference I saw was that one of them had 2 chatter posts, the other had 1 chatter post, and at one time, one did not have a phone number. But right now, so somebody else put the phone numbers because they thought that would make them come up as duplicates. Like I said, it's not the end of the world, so it's one of those
It
things.
also depends on what duplicate rule you're using.
Yep.
So the standard rule will probably come up if the name is really close and the phone number is formatted the same way on both records. So here's another fun thing. Phone is going to display in like a typical, parentheses around the area code, 3-digit dash 4-digit with a space between the parentheses, no matter what it is in the background and how it's stored.
Well, that's because of locale.
Right. It's going to store based on the locale, but it's going to look
It's
like
going to
based on the
display
locale
based on the locale.
but the
Yeah.
storage of one might be just numbers and the storage of the other might include dashes and stuff. And if the sharing rule isn't exact, they're not going to come up as a dupe.
I'm
This is
having
true.
flashbacks.
Yeah. Good old dupe rules.
Flashbacks to working with Linda and Mike at the same time again. Man, don't miss those meetings, you two or something. Whew, Pat, you want them? You can take them both.
Hey, I would take them.
Does that help, Pat?
Yeah.
Like taking
Yeah.
taking a peek at the duplicate rules and then and seeing how that helps out with you, and then maybe normalizing the data on those 2 records, so that the formatting of everything matches up, so that you can kind of see where that is. That'll get you in a good place.
It's kind of weird because the last name is something that's not a typical last name. Okay.
As far as what you're expecting, and like maybe it's just a little bit not quite I don't know.
It's
You
yeah, it's
understand what
a
you're saying. I don't need to
right.
know anymore. The
Okay. Okay. No, what I mean, it's not like it's not Smith, Jones, Harris,
Sure.
Johnson, or something like that, where you could have several of those in your org.
I mean, sure, sure. It seems, but like, hey, I've run into people with my name, believe it or not. No, I'm kidding. Um,
So I did put it in the chat, but I don't know if you noticed it, Pat. I just will note, since you mentioned that one had 2 chatter posts and one had 1, if you care about the chatter posts, you should know that when you merge, chatter posts don't merge. The losing records chatter posts will be gone.
Poof.
Yeah, it's just some fluffy chatter post like,
Oh.
"Hey, we've been acquired," or
That
It's the
was
chatter. It's the
that was
chatter
what I would
post
have
that's going to cushion
assumed, but I
chatter
Yeah.
during
wanted
the
to call it
fall.
out.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Michael. You're the best.
Aren't all chatter posts fluffy?
Stop this.
Sorry.
All
And now
right.
you're out of the meeting. Go.
Yes. Bye. Bye. Oh my
Mike, your
goodness.
Slack is showing.
It's right there. It's right there over your shoulder. Yeah. Do we have any other questions and challenges and problems that anyone has?
I could have another one.
Come on, Pat.
Do we need to rename this event?
The Pat Show? Yes,
Oh,
maybe. But seriously, does anyone have any other challenges or questions you want to talk about before we give the floor back to Pat?
Hmm.
Because I mean, my big question this morning was what kind of coffee everyone was drinking when I was waiting for a call that was, really big. I was like, what kind of coffee is everyone drinking? But Pat's got, all right, Pat, what do you got?
We have a frozen Salesforce license. And the reason they could not be deactivated was because they own several reports. Is
Well,
that something
just
hard to
change.
clean
No,
up
that's
or
not
not?
hard. No,
Okay,
no.
cool.
Recreate the reports with the system user, and we'll be fine. Like clone and save, and it'll be tedious, ugly work for a minute, but you can do it. That's the face. Yes, yes, that is absolutely the face. It is make a list of the reports that are dependent on them, and then just kind of like chop through it. It'll be okay.
Okay. Yeah.
It'll be okay.
I think you can run a report to identify them and backload it, actually.
Because you can, there's a
That's the faster
dashboard
way.
component thing that gives you the report.
Yep.
Say that
You-
again. What do you mean backloaded?
There is an object called dashboard component, and that will help you identify which reports are part of the dashboards.
And then you can then take those report records and upload them with the correct owner ID. You'd have to use probably Workbench or something. You wouldn't be able to do it from a standard load, but you could then mass transfer ownership of those reports rather than try to find them all individually or clone them. I'm pretty sure you can do that.
It might be true.
Oh, you
What
can
was that?
mass move the floor. I know you can update the folder that way.
Yeah. Oh, true. Yep.
I don't know if you can change the owner, because like owner on a report is the created by user.
That would.
Yeah, that's what I'm
that
saying.
would-
Like, I think with Workbench, you can actually load to that column, but I think we'd have to
I
play.
don't remember.
But at the bare minimum, you could find every one of them, and then
Mm-hmm.
you'd have a checklist of what you need to change. You wouldn't be flying blind.
I think I found every one of them. I just kind of looked at it, It's kind of like one of those things when it's a problem, you fix that report and then go on. But
Yep.
This happens when I offboard people. I just log in as that user
Yeah.
and then go to their reports
Absolutely.
and do it that way.
Yep.
So that might be an easier
Fantastic.
solution than all these fancy things. Just log in as them.
I mean, they're frozen. They're
Yep.
That's great. Does that help, Pat? We gave you 3 options. All right. Stacy, hand up, camera on, ready to go.
Yeah, I mean it this
coffee
time.
in hand, or was that tea? I don't know.
I'm not kidding.
All
My
right,
hand
what do
is
you got?
really up.
Yeah, let's see it. What do you got? Talk to us.
So I have been tasked very happily, because I love projects like this, with creating, managing, and shepherding a report and dashboard and all their folders cleanup initiative. And I'm about to start next week. And I'm just kind of running through my head like the dashboard of zeros is like always so helpful with different aspects of org health. And I love them. And I'm thinking of like some obvious things like reports, like say that have been inactive for over a year that are owned by inactive users, or they haven't been run. The reports haven't been run, things like that. What are some non-obvious things that we could look at
The
for
report
this
of
dashboard of
reports.
zeros?
Dashboard of reports. Like the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is run a report on all your reports, and it has the last
Yes.
modified date, because you're going to log into these reports and you're going to want to look back and see what the actual last modified date was, because you touching it is going to mess up that data.
That's true.
So like the first thing you should do is just run a report of all of the reports, and like the last modified date, that is what
Last
you're
run
looking
date.
at.
That's a
Last
good
Not just
run
piece
date.
of
last run date,
advice.
but last run date, because when you run it, it's going to run. So I always pull a report of all the reports. I pull it with the last run date, the last modified, the who created it, and that date. What folder it's in case you move it.
Mhm.
Because when I do cleanup, I tend to move folders to an archive folder first so that people can't get to them. And then when they call me and complain, I have to know where to move them back to. The other thing
Yes.
I do is, we already mentioned this kind of with Pat's thing, but I run a query of all the dashboard components, both all the dashboard components that are public and those that are in private users folders, so I know which reports appear in dashboard. So before I try to delete them, I know which ones aren't just going to delete and give me an error message saying you can't delete them.
Gotcha.
And then like I would say for sure, establish what your criteria is. Like if a dashboard a report has not been run in X amount of time, what is that amount of time to say that, hey, these are ones I'm going to be nice and ask you about, and these are the ones that I'm just blowing away.
But be careful with some of those because they're like year to date or quarter to date. So just,
Right. But I mean, my time
Mhm.
period is more than a year, so I use a
Yeah.
2-year
You're
time
generous,
period
Linda.
right now. I'm very
And
generous.
I'm not a solo admin. I'm not even the senior admin. There are two people above me, and I'm also still relatively new. So I'm not going to be making any major changes,
No,
but
but
I
I would
have,
clear that with them, and
yeah, oh yeah.
come to consensus. I mean,
That's why they're
kind of
having me
odd.
make this plan first, is because I'm going to document like the plan
Excellent.
for going forward before we actually do anything. But the
And
dashboard of zeros is definitely key.
right,
What about for
and
report types?
You can pull in the report type on that report of reports.
yeah. Also, I'm trying to think, is there an easy way to get it? Which report?
What do you
can
mean?
pull in the report type on on a report of
On the
reports.
report of reports, you can pull in report type. Oh my gosh. Blah.
Yeah, no, you
I
said it
do.
right, but that didn't sound like it. It sounded like you're having a stroke.
I do have a report
I'm
of
okay.
reports, and I do have a report of reports with report types.
Yes.
But
And
why
so
would you?
Because
See
you
Why
have
that?
to
would you?
figure out what report types you don't need anymore.
if there are
Yeah, but
custom report types that are unnecessary, then you can blow them away because they were maybe built and weren't effective
Or
or been
duplicate.
replaced with
yeah.
something better.
Or even better, we've had, 7 or 8 accidental admins, none of them certified or trained. And so they were like, oh, great, I can make a report type. And so we have tons of duplicate report types.
Yeah.
That.
But
Yeah.
they're named different things.
Mhm.
And everyone's kind of
Sure.
using their own, they're obviously duplicate report types, but someone's using this version, somebody's using that version, somebody's using this other version.
Right. And version A has these fields, version B has these fields also, and version C
Mm.
has a different object attached to it entirely, but it's not
Maybe
identified.
not.
Yeah.
Maybe
right.
not.
Yes.
No, I mean like accounts with contacts, or like I'm saying some custom object things where
So
it's
I think it makes a lot of sense to clean up reports, cleaning up list views, cleaning up dashboards. These are things that make a lot of sense as good archival practice. The report types is a can of worms.
Yeah.
And as a person who is in the I'm making a decision for a large group of people camp, you can't squeeze that lemon hard enough to get enough juice out of it to make it worth your
Ah,
time.
okay.
This is because when you go to get rid of one of those, you're going to have to make sure that there's no actual dependency on it, which means every report that still exists
In private
will
folders
need to
too.
will need to be changed.
Or
But
That's-
deleted.
But can
I'm
you-
gonna say
You just let it break on them.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's my favorite way to do it.
But
there
there's a deployed and there's the two statuses.
In
for
development,
development.
in
yeah.
development.
Can you move it from deployed to in development? I don't know if I've ever done that.
Yeah, what
can't.
happens?
You
So
can't create
when
new.
you do so,
That-
their reports won't work.
But their report won't work and you still see it. The end users won't be able to make any new reports, so the problem won't get any worse. But is it really a problem?
I'm gonna just
This is my point.
I'm gonna just say though, I've been in plenty of orgs where there's been all those, not accidental admins crapping it up over the years. Some of those, just blow them away, and if someone's report breaks, you'll build them a new one that'll be better in the first place. Like there's some level of just
Yes, I would
burn it
suggest you put it, you just dial it back so they can't create new.
Hide the report type.
If it is technical debt that you are tripping on day after day, or someone is tripping on day after day, because make sure it's worth your time.
I'm gonna
Okay.
go ahead,
Worth
Mike. You were gonna
my
say
time.
Or the team's time. You choose.
Yeah, I mean, I think Joy is hitting at the central issue. Is it worth your literal time? Right? Like this will be an investment in time to figure out, is this one actually different? Right? And there are ways that you can maybe expedite that. But if you're a newer admin, let's assume you're using the UI and you're not doing I extracted a lot of these and then I sorted them by the thing, and then I was able to do this comparison table and figure out, setting aside all of that.
Rabbit
So
hole.
you have 2 accounts with contacts. So, did it hurt anybody? Did it slow anybody down? Is
Yes.
one of them genuinely
Yes.
bad?
Because it's not 2, it's 12. And
Right.
when they go to try to make a
Okay.
report, they try the first one and maybe it doesn't quite have everything they need. So they try the next one. And that one maybe also, they're just like, well, I'm just
Right,
going to
sure.
fudge this and make it work. So they
Sure.
don't have reliable data. And also
So
we have
so then-
relationships. We have
then-
duplicate relationships across objects as well.
Sure.
So it's
Yeah, then
really
not
difficult to
surprising.
know
Not surprising.
which relationship you're choosing.
So
This is-
I would suggest that this is the type of thing that is a slow burn. I have a time filler, and you chip away at it slowly, and then
Yeah.
it is not worth
For the
I
off
would
Oh,
season.
either
no,
dedicate
this
a
is
sprint
not-
to this.
Yeah,
I would
it's for
Yeah,
the
no.
off season.
Yeah.
No, this is not going to be like my top priority. I'm going to do this for the
Mhm.
next 3
Right.
weeks, because you
Yeah.
could definitely do that and not make a lot of progress.
Yeah,
This
you
is
could
more
pick
like
one.
we're going to have some clear objectives. We're going to have specific actions that we take, specific deprecation steps,
Mhm.
specific archiving steps, and specific communication that we give to our users when something appears broken.
Right.
Sure.
And
I
then,
want to add
Yeah.
one more thing though that
take away system
Super-
admin access to create custom report types for these people.
Oh,
think
nobody
there's-
has it anymore.
there's one missing piece, I think, although you may have been thinking it, you didn't say it, which is what is the line in the sand going forward so it doesn't continue to happen? You also need to have that.
Hmm. Yep, that's going to be part of the recommendations.
Right. But I mean, the recommendation for cleanup or the recommendation for how I want to make sure we're saying
Okay.
the same thing, right? Of no one
Yeah.
can create custom report types anymore. Here's why. If you don't make that decision, it's just going to come back. It's not a guideline anymore. It's a rule, right? So, I mean,
Yeah.
have those. And I think also those are the things that will help you identify the base of your original question, which is what are you trying to solve for? Knowing oh, we want to make sure that there's a defined and
We're
acceptable
almost out of time.
folder structure or something. That will help you decide which ones you need to fix or move or re-edit or ignore or archive or whatever. Work from both ends.
Yeah, we're on the same page. It's
Okay.
good. We're when I came on board in January, I said, what's our report management strategy, or what's our report deprecation strategy? Like, we don't have one. So now we're finally on top of all the fires that we had to
Sure.
put out starting from last year. And we're starting to have like a little bit of extra time. So now we're bringing some of these org health projects forward, which I'm loving because I've been just keeping a little side document to keep my sanity. It's called Perceived Tech Debt. And some of it's not necessarily tech debt, it's just stuff that I saw that was weird. And I just kind of notated it and kept a separate document for myself. And
I do have a suggestion for a first step now.
sure.
All those custom report types that you consider questionable, change their report type name so that people stop using them going forward. Like contacts and accounts, there's a standard one. It almost certainly does what they need. Make sure they don't choose the custom ones going forward by changing the name, even if you don't turn them into in development or anything like that. But like, just stop the bleeding.
The first three words are do not use custom report type name.
Going to be deleted, something, just so that there's a clear indicator of like which is the right one, right?
And it'll help you too if you start when you run that report of reports, or if you start going into reports with people and helping them with one. If you're doing this, which I know you are because I worked with you, the first thing you look at is what report type is this one that they're cloning from. If you see it's one of these, you're like, oh no, we're starting fresh now. We're not using this thing, whatever it is.
Yeah.
All right. Does that help you, Stacy?
Yeah, and this is actually was born out of a support ticket to Salesforce because there's some report type had, I guess, duplicate fields somehow in it, and so it was throwing all kinds of really strange errors. And even after Salesforce fixed it, they fixed it, I'm still getting errors. And so I'm kind of like, yeah, we could probably stand to have report types that serve our users.
All right, friends, that wraps it up for the day. Thanks, Stacy, for your great challenges. Pat, I can't thank you enough. Just bringing all the trouble to us. We love it.
You,
we
Pat.
love it. All right. If you have any questions, make sure you put them in the community. We will talk to you in a couple, whatever the date was. Squire, when are we talking to everyone next? On the 8th?
I don't know. Why not tomorrow?
That was the 2nd.
No, listen.
Yes. No, the 8th. Yes, correct.
April 8th. Is that right? Or is that
No,
May?
no, it's the 1st.
Third.
April 1st.
Hold on. It's not the 1st.
It's the 3rd.
Oh, for Pete's sakes. It is the 3rd. It's the 3rd of April.
All right. We'll talk to everyone April 3rd. We'll talk to you all soon.
Thanks, everybody.
I've got birds in my window feeder. All right. Bye, friends. We'll see you later.